What up, guys? Mad Scientist 7890 here, your favorite wrestling shooter and hip-hop enthusiast. Now, with hip-hop enthusiast, that means I do hip-hop videos every now and again. Finally, I'm getting to this monthly video that I do called Hip-Hop Copper Drop. It's basically what it is it's each month I go through and listen to all the mixtapes, hip-hop albums that come out in that month. And I basically have this thing called Copper Drop, where I say ones you should check out, listen to, you know, or there's pretty much ones you should not waste your time on. Normally, I do these videos usually a week into the next month, but I just didn't get the time to really sit and listen to a lot of the stuff that came out. I finally got finished, and halfway through March, finally got February done here. So I'm going to continue to do these Copper Drops here. Hope you guys like them if you're into hip-hop music. So first I'm going to do the Cop, the ones you guys should definitely check out. First I'm going to say there was an EP that came out. It was Currency and Styles P, and it's hashtag the first 28. You know, I like this EP. I think Currency is one of those guys that does his thing. Like, he does basically his, you know, weed rap kind of mellow, you know, deal. But I think when he gets on you know, a track with another guy who can spit, I think he kind of ups his actual rapping. And I liked this, and the production on this, I thought this was pretty solid too. Either this was, I'm not really quite sure if this was an EP. I guess I don't know if they're planning on doing a full-length album, these two. But from what I heard, I did enjoy the majority of these. I guess there was like 5 or 6 songs on here, so I definitely say it's worth checking out. I think it's free, so I would definitely check that out. Next, I got, and the next, this guy right here, I'm not really a huge fan of, but I'm going to be honest and say I pretty much enjoyed, I want to say 3/4 of this. I believe this is a mixtape from Ja Rule, and it's Pain Is Love 2. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not a huge Ja Rule fan. I've never been a huge fan of him, and I don't own any of his CDs. I never downloaded any of his music prior till now. But this was good. I enjoyed it. It had some really good raw, like, emotion out of Ja Rule, which I think, you know, people took him for being a bitch. You know, when he got called out years ago and all the feuds that he was in with people, and really never did anything back. But regardless if you're a bitch or not, if you're getting called out or whatever it is, if you make good music, you make good music. And this was good. I like this, so I would definitely say check that out. Next we got here, this next thing, I'm not, like I said, I'm mostly a fan of just flat out hip hop music, you know, raw beats, great rhymes, just you know, 90s kind of just style. But as hip hop is evolving into a new era here, you know, I think the pop element of hip hop music is becoming more radio friendly, and people are enjoying it a lot more. And I think one good example of what I've liked, or one of the only examples of hip hop that I've liked, is Chiddy Bang, their album Breakfast. I actually really, you know, I want to say I really enjoyed this, because I think it had enough catchy songs on it and enough lyrics on it to really keep me occupied, to really keep me, like, you know, involved in it, and enough to consider it, I guess, enough hip hop for me to be okay. You know, it's not like a full-on Lady Gaga, you know, pop album or any of that kind of crap. So I think I did okay with it, and I think I was expecting it to be a lot worse, but it actually surprised, and I really enjoyed it. So I definitely say check that out. Next we got M-Phazes, producer, produced Phazed Out, had a lot of different artists on there, a lot of underground guys on there, had a really big, you could see the influence of DJ Premier a lot on this album, a lot of the beats that he you know, produced, and a lot of the artists that he worked with. If you're a fan of just underground, you know, hip hop, and you like the DJ Premier kind of sound, and you've heard of M-Phazes, I believe he's from Australia. You would not expect, maybe, I mean, Australia's kind of off the grid and out of the way. You wouldn't expect, you know, some beats like this, but they're real raw, like kind of sounding like 90s soulful DJ Premier kind of beats, and I think some people should check it out if you've not heard it. And then let's see what I got. Pill. Pill dropped his first mixtape since he got away from Maybach Group. Really coming out punching because, you know, getting out of Maybach, which is becoming a major, you know, label, with Rick Ross heading it up. You know, coming out here and doing his own thing on this mixtape. Really enjoyed this. I think Pill's going to do just fine without Maybach Group. I'm not really quite sure what the conflict was between him and the whole label and whatnot, but this was good. I would definitely say check that out. And if you're a fan of Maybach Group, I mean, it still has like elements of that kind of sound, but it's more soulful. So I definitely would say that. Check that out. And then finally, Copywrite, God Save the King. I mean, it's just, you know, Copywrite is, if you listen to any Copywrite's music, just a dope underground lyricist. You know, he came out with the High Exalted or whatever. I believe that's what it has pronounced. A lot of people consider it like a classic, you know, underground hip hop album. And the thing about that was, I never actually heard that album until I heard about this album coming out, about this God Save the King, which I'd heard a lot of word about, and I was like, okay, well, I'll download it, I'll see, you know. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought the lyrics were on point. I thought, you know, it's really got that underground sound. If you're a big fan of underground hip hop, you would definitely like this, and you definitely like, you know, anything that Copywrite's done. A lot of the same stuff, just good all around. Just, I mean, it sounds really like just plain and vanilla, but it really is just one of those where if you're just into dope lyricists, you're gonna like him. So I would definitely say check that out if you're into underground. Now we're gonna get to the drop. Since I've been doing these copper drops, I haven't really gotten, you know, something that I just really thought was absolutely just terrible, and I thought was just an absolute waste of money, an absolute waste of time to download, to just even think about. But I'll get to that. First, I would tell you to just pass on Too Short. Had a mixtape that come out. I don't even know. Trespassing is what it's called. I mean, it's time to give it up, Too Short. You know, it's cool to see you on some features with other people, but predominantly, I really don't care about listening to a full-length album or mixtape from him. You know, to me, it's an older guy trying to fit in with the new times, do the same thing everyone else was doing, and not really sticking, you know, to his guns and doing what made him popular. So I didn't really care for it. Next, Maino, The Day After Tomorrow. The thing about this is it's not bad and it's not great either. It's kind of just in the middle. It's kind of just an okay hip hop album to me. I didn't care for quite a few tracks, but there was a couple that I liked. It just overall, it just seemed like there was nothing that really stood out on this to me to really just throw this on a, you know, to pick up. And I'm not really that. I don't really care too much for Maino as a lyricist. I think he's okay, but I mean, unless you're a Maino fan, I would definitely just pass on that. Next, Tyga, Careless World, Rise of the Last King. I mean, man, just, you know, Young Money. I like to listen to Young Money if I'm like a party or something. I'm not one of those people that'll just pop in like a Lil Wayne album and I'll sit and listen to like the Carter 3. Like I won't just, or Carter, you know, whatever. I won't just sit and listen to Lil Wayne just sitting around. Same thing with Tyga. Same thing with, you know, Drake's a different story. You know, he's more of got a laid back sound to him. But Tyga is just, it's just the same. It just really was just a Maybach hip hop album. You know, to me, it had a couple of cool bangers. Way too freaking long to me. I mean, there's a couple of, if you're willing to sit through and wait for some of the good tracks, you know, if you actually care that much, I would. But I mean, to me, just download a couple songs off of this. I wouldn't buy the whole album, and I definitely wouldn't even download it, but I did. So, but I didn't buy it. I downloaded it. I wouldn't pay for it. Sorry. Next we got let's go Gucci Mane, Trap Back. Every Gucci Mane hip hop mixtape, album, collaboration, everything he does sounds the same. Occasionally I'll hear a dope banger that I'll just like want to ride to, and it'll got a really like badass just bassy beat. and I'll like to listen to it in like my car, just riding around. There may be one on here that I like, but overall, content not there. Lyrics definitely not there. Production, I mean, same production he always uses. Unless you're on Gucci Mane's junk, I wouldn't even waste my time. Next, Prodigy from Mobb Deep dropped H.N.I.C 3. I don't know what it is with I think Prodigy kind of reminds me of, he's such a great lyricist, but he reminds me of like Razkaz. He reminds me of Razkaz to where, like, you know, his lyrics are always good, but his production is just never good to me. Like, and I don't know, it just seems kind of like lazy. Like, not even the production as in, like, even when he's using other people's beats, like when he's rhyming on other people's beats, like in mixtapes a lot of people do, it doesn't even sound like the production of his voice like is mixed. It doesn't sound mixed correctly. It just, to me, it just doesn't sound good. But I know Prodigy is a good lyricist, and hopefully when Mobb Deep drops their actual album, I know they dropped that EP last year, Black Cocaine, that was okay, but this I just didn't care for. Next got Ski Beatz, 24-Hour Karate School, Twilight. I mean, I may get a little bit of grief for this because I know there's some people who are Ski Beatz fans, but, you know, it was just, I just felt sad listening to it. Not sad as in, like, it was sad because the lyrics and the production were bad. There was nothing upbeat. There was nothing that really was just, like, it just felt like, everything was really just low, just, it's really, if you listen to it, you would understand what I'm saying. It's really hard to explain. It's just nothing upbeat. It just really kind of was just slow and boring to me at times. I really couldn't get into it. Like, I was kind of just dreading, like, once I passed the first couple songs, I was just hoping that there would be something that would really be like, you know, catch me on. But there was just nothing to me that really stood out on this. And sorry, you know, I like Ski Beatz. I think the production they do is pretty well. You know, it's pretty good. But just for this, it just seemed really just, I don't know. I guess it was Twilight for a reason. Maybe it was just, maybe you have to be stoned or something to like it. I don't know. And finally, got down to the two ones that I would not even waste my time on at all. And it's just crap, honestly, these two last ones. And the reason I'm going to put them together is because they both have the same concept, okay? When you're a hip-hop artist, okay, and what I don't get is when hip-hop artists or when any other artist, and they're good at what they do, the music that they make, they always want to try to cross over and try to make an album of something that's not their genre of music. They think, oh yeah, dude, I like that kind of music, I can do that. It doesn't always work like that. So that's why with these last two, I guess one's a mixtape, one's an album, or I think both of them might be albums. I have no idea. I can't mix up between mixtapes and albums on a lot on these, but it's Curren, Muscle Car, Chronicles, and Wizard. Just Wizard, that is the name of the album as well. It's basically two hip hop artists trying to do rock albums, and you know, Currency's Muscle Car Chronicles wasn't near as bad as Wizard. It was. I like Currency on just, you know, Weekend at Bernie's beats and Alchemist beats, and I just more of a mellow. I don't like the rock sound with him and you know, in his voice, and it just, to me, it didn't sound good. And I would definitely not even waste my time. Even if you're a Currency fan, I wouldn't even say pick this up. I didn't care for it all. And Wizard is already on my list of just worst albums of the year. God, it was terrible. Nothing stood out to me. Oh God, it was terrible. It wasn't good at all. Like, the lyrics weren't good. I don't even want to say the production wasn't really, you know, that bad. It was just a rock album being made by two people who don't do rock music. It's just one of those things that just people just don't understand. you know, if I was you know, a hip hop artist, I wouldn't try to jump over into rock music. I wouldn't try to jump over into something that, you know, okay, even though some people have an ear for music in general, most hip hop artists should just stay in their lane. And for Kid Cudi and Dot the Genius, who was a producer for this, no God, this was horrendous. Kid Cudi is just digging himself a hole from his first CD, which I thought was absolutely fantastic, to his second album, which I thought was solid, to this, which was garbage, which was absolute garbage. I don't know if some people out there actual fans of it, but it sucked. Just being honest. But yeah, that's my copper drop, guys, for February 2012. Hopefully I'll try to get the March one out a little bit earlier. So far, March been some pretty solid stuff I've heard so far. I just downloaded a couple new mixtapes that I'm going to check out. Big Crit just dropped his mixtape, so I need to listen to that as well. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think of these albums. If there's some I'm missing or whatever. I'm sure there's so many other albums or mixtapes out there that I didn't hear, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm the Mad Scientist, your favorite hip-hop, I was going to say hip-hop shooter. That sounds pretty cool, actually. I'm going to say hip-hop shooter for this one. I don't know. You make a mess up into something that sounds cool. Your favorite hip-hop shooter. All right, I'm out of here. Deuces.